Hello friends, it's me, Shin, and today I'm coming to you from the Rio Las Vegas where I'm checking out the newly opened Luckley Tavern. Super happy to have you along. Let's head inside. Alright everyone, and here we are seated at Luckley's. This is the Rio's brand new Tavern and Grill that's taking place of the All-American Bar and Grill from what I recall. It's a beautiful look in here, very modern and classy, with warm wood tones that are very inviting. You've got bar seating as well as full booths and half booths. A really nice looking venue here at the Rio. I actually really like the architecture in here. Regardless of the vibes though, you know it's all about the food for me, so let's take a look at what they have to eat, starting with the drinks. Alrighty, so here is your drink menu at Luckley's. Starting off with your cocktails here. Feel free to take a pause in the video if you'd like to take a closer look at these drinks. But all of your specialty cocktails, looks like it ranges about $14. We'll take a look at the wines by the glass, as well as a nice little collection of sparkling whites and reds here. You have beer down here as well. All looking to be about $6 to $8. The wine ranging from about 13 to about 20-ish right there. And there are the drinks. Let's flip it on over and see what they have to eat. So here's the food menu. Taking a look at the starters, we've got your warm artichoke dips, shrimp tacos. Oh, pigs in a blanket sounds pretty good. Some sliders. All right, so the buffalo wings, the lollipop buffalo wings are what's boxed here, so that must be a specialty. We'll make sure to get that. Here's your raw bar. You've got shrimp cocktails, sashimi, and a tuna pizza. Tuna pizza sounds interesting. Your soups and salads here. Wait, does that tomato soup come with a grilled cheese? Oh, that's 100% happening. Here are your mains. You've got salmon, scallop benedict. That sounds interesting. A lot of really cool, a lobster pot pie. Okay, I'm starting to get pretty excited. This is a very good looking menu here. You've got some steaks, looks like a filet, a New York strip, as well as a steak frites. Ooh, steak frites is always nice. Some sauces that you can go to beef up your steak, as well as something like grilled onions and mushrooms. And then here are some sides, like a truffle mac and cheese, natural cut fries. Yeah, this is all looking really great. Very compact, but a good looking menu here at Luckley's. I gotta say, I'm really intrigued by that menu. A lot of great looking options I'm trying today because you know how it goes in my videos. Every restaurant is a buffet if you're willing to pay. So I'm gonna get a nice variety and together we'll see what this place is all about. Appetizers are coming up first. I'll see you in a little bit when they arrive. All right, my friends, now my appetizers just got here and this is looking really good. Let me give you a view. I went in on those chicken lollipops as well as their sliders, pigs in a blanket, and that tomato soup, which comes with the grilled cheese. I'm so excited for that, as well as their tuna pizza. This looks like a good spread. Let's give it a try. Alrighty, first up, we're gonna go in on their tomato soup as well as that grilled cheese. Such a nostalgic dish. I always love having tomato soup and grilled cheese. A very chunky looking soup here. We'll start with the soup on its own first. That's actually really nice. I actually really like the tomato soup. A little bit more of a rustic, chunky tomato soup here. It's got a lot of great flavors. A nice sweetness from the tomato, but it's actually a very zesty tomato soup. Well seasoned, it's not a bland soup by any means. A really good tomato soup right there, I like that a lot. I've also got the grilled cheese here. I'm gonna try that on its own as well. Oh yes, that's very good. A good grilled cheese requires good bread. I genuinely love this bread. It's a very rich egg bread, producing a lot of flavor. It's well buttered, got a great toast to it, really thick cut egg toast here. I like it a lot. Now it looks like they're using a white cheddar here, and it is a much more mild cheddar, not super sharp. I actually really like that. A mild flavor goes really well with this egg bread, but it does bring a nice richness. Just a really good grilled cheese there. And then of course we have to dip it into the soup, and oh, this is looking like a dream. Really excited for this one. Oh, that's really nice. The additional sweetness from the tomatoes as well as the zesty nature of the soup really amplifies the flavors of the grilled cheese. I really taste a lot more of the sweetness in the bread when the initial flavors of the soup dissipate. It creates a really nice stage and you appreciate the dichotomy of the bite. This is a really good grilled cheese and tomato soup. I like this a lot. Next up, the Lollipop Buffalo Chicken Wings. I will say these are pretty small wings here. It looks like you get 9 to an order, but these have been well lollipopped. I like the technique. Looks very clean. I'll dip it into some of the ranch, and let's give it a taste. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A good crispy skin to that, and while there's not a lot of meat to it, the meat that is present is juicy chicken. I actually really like the flavor of this sauce. It's much more spiced than your typical buffalo sauce that you're used to, and a very nice amount of vinegar and tang in there, really solidifying that buffalo flavor that you're looking for in a chicken wing like this. A good creamy ranch here, providing some cooling flavors. A pretty good lollipop chicken here. While I personally love big, jumbo, juicy wings, these lollipop wings are pretty fun to eat, not bad at all. Next up, we're going in on their sliders. You get 3 sliders to an order. And I see some kind of a sauce in here as well as some pickles. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that's not bad. Unfortunately, I can't say I'm a biggest fan of this bun. It has a bit of a crusty exterior, and while the interior looks airy, it's not all that fluffy. I think the bigger issue for me is, unfortunately, that bread is incredibly dry. It almost reminds me a little bit more of a biscuit than it does a burger bun. Now, the more I'm trying it, I believe that burger bun is actually by design to be much more like an American biscuit. My mind is slowly shifting now that I kind of understand the intent, but because my initial reaction was that of a dry bun, I'm not sure where my opinion currently lies. In some ways, I actually really like the flaky butteriness of the bun, but I do think ultimately I would prefer something a little bit more airy and soft. Not a bad burger here. It's cooked a little bit closer to medium well, and while not the juiciest burger I've ever had, certainly not the driest. I do like the burger sauce they've applied, something very much like a garlic aioli, and the white cheddar works fine here. I believe it's the same white cheddar from the grilled cheese earlier, and the caramelized onions certainly provide a nice nutty flavor. I guess ultimately I've just got some mixed feelings when it comes to the sliders. Now these sliders are served alongside some French fries. Let's go and see how these are. I really like those French fries. Very obviously hand cut, skin on with a really great fry. Crispy exterior, a pillowy center, and a good flavor here. They've been well seasoned. There's just a little bit of Parmesan on some of these fries, giving some additional saltiness. A good French fry, I like those. Next up, we're going in on the pigs in a blanket. A super flaky puff pastry here. It's just flaking away by me holding it. It does come with 2 sauces, a cheese sauce as well as a mustard sauce. I'm gonna try sauceless first. Yeah, that's pretty good. I really like the puff pastry here. So buttery and flaky. It's very light, a slight crisp to that exterior. I really like this puff pastry. Now the sausages for me are just okay. It has a very soft texture. I think I would prefer a little bit more bite to that. After the soft flaky texture of that puff pastry, I think I would enjoy a little bit more of a contrast than this soft sausage. I do also think the sausage is a bit on the salty side, although it does have a smoky flavor to it, which I'm appreciating a lot. Certainly not bad though. That's a good pigs in a blanket. I'm gonna try dipping into the sauces as well. First up, we'll go in on this cheese sauce. Very thick looking. Let's see how it is. Yeah, that's nice. You've got a really good cheese sauce here. It's thick, it's rich, and an ever so slight heat element that's keeping it interesting. A good cheese sauce there. I'm gonna try the mustard up next. Got a nice little dip here. Let's see how this is. Yeah, that's good. I much prefer that mustard sauce over the cheese sauce. While it does bring a bit of a kick and a spicy element, it elevates the flavors of the pigs in a blanket much more, as opposed to the cheese sauce, which is just transformative, providing an additional layer of flavor. Definitely a much bigger fan of that mustard sauce. Okie doke, last appetizer I'm going in on today is the tuna pizza. A super thin crust on the bottom here, topped along with some tuna and what looks like a white sauce. Let's give it a taste. Okay, that's actually really tasty. A very thin and crispy pizza crust here. Something more akin to a wheat cracker. There's not a lot of flavor, but a great crispy texture. Makes for a fun bite. It's been thinly sliced. You do get a nice robust flavor from it, but it's really this aioli sauce that's the star of the show. It's a truffle aioli sauce, but they were very careful with the amount that they used. It's not overpowering the bite. I appreciate that so much. Very rich and creamy, along with a little bit of a garlicky flavor. It works very well with this dish. A very fun appetizer, this one, I like it. All right, my friends, now that's all the appetizers I'm trying today. Just a couple more bites. I think I'm gonna box a lot of this to go because we're gonna go in our first round of entrees. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. My first round of entrees just got here, and this is looking great. Let me give you a view. I got an order of their scallops benedict, as well as their shells carbonara pasta, their roasted chicken, and a lobster pot pie. This is looking tasty. Let's give it a try. Now, the first bite from the entrees I want to try today is the lobster pot pie. I love my chicken pot pies, and I certainly love lobster, so if you put the two together, I'm sure I'm gonna like this. Let's give it a try. Okay, yeah, that's actually really good. The puff pastry here is really great. Marvelously flaky and buttery. Such a wonderful texture to that. I really like the puff pastry here. This lobster gravy is really flavorful. The sweet flavors of the lobster definitely come through here, but it's also accompanied by a lot of additional great flavors. I got a little earthiness from the mushrooms, as well as the sweetness of the carrots. I actually really love how much of that cooked down sherry that you taste in the gravy. It gives it a little bit of a dry bite, savory and a little bit sweet, and a very well seasoned pot pie here. I'm a big fan, I like this one a lot. Next up, I'm going in on the scallops benedict. A very unique sounding dish that I haven't seen anywhere before. A lot of great looking elements here. Let's see how it is. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A solid scallop here. I do think it's maybe a handful of seconds overcooked. A little bit of a rubbery texture, but the flavors are actually magnificent. One of the better tasting scallops I've ever had. Such a nice briny flavor there. There's a potato cake in this recipe that acts as the English muffin in a traditional eggs benedict. And while it does have a nice crispy texture, unfortunately, I think it's a tad under seasoned. Tasting that potato cake on its own, it's a little bit bland. That said, it does have a nice dichotomy of textures when compared to the scallops, so I do appreciate its presence here. The spinach provides its nice irony flavors, and a nice tangy hollandaise sauce is a great accompaniment here as well. A bit of a salty element from the bacon, although I don't know if it's particularly necessary. It comes toward the end as an aftertaste. I think I'd be okay without that bacon here. A very interesting dish though, not bad at all. Next up, let's try the roasted chicken. A pretty good looking roasted chicken here. Looks relatively juicy, served in a Madeira jus, and I certainly like the amount of seasoning I see on the top. Let's see how it is. That's a good chicken right there. This is a really good chicken dish. A nice juicy chicken with a bit more of a roasted skin as opposed to a crispy one. But it's been incredibly well seasoned, a lot of good flavor here. And that Madeira jus really provides an additional savory element that's welcome with the chicken. A little bit of a beefy, earthy flavor to that Madeira jus, certainly elevating the taste of this chicken. A good chicken dish here, I like that. Now the roasted chicken dish is served alongside some fingerling potatoes and broccolini. Let's see how these are as well, starting with the potatoes. Yeah, not bad. There is a nice cook to these potatoes. I believe they've been boiled soft, cut in half, and then pan fried, providing a nice bit of a crispy texture on the bottoms with a soft chew in the center. Oddly enough, I think the potatoes are a bit under seasoned, which is surprising because the chicken is so well seasoned. I think just a little bit of additional salt here, and I would like these potatoes a lot more. But as an accompaniment to the chicken, not bad at all. We got some broccolini here as well. And let's give this a try. It's actually really good. Definitely one of the better broccolinis I've had. A nice firmness to the exterior, but still cooked all the way through for a soft chew. One of the best textured broccolinis I've had in a long time. Nicely doused in butter and oil here. A solid richness to this broccolini, and very well seasoned. A nice flavor to it, and a little bit of a savory element as well, being that it's been sitting in this Madeira jus. Overall, I'd say a really good chicken dish here. I do like this. All right, my friends, and the last bite I'm trying from this first round of entrees is gonna be their carbonara. This is a shell pasta carbonara, and I can see the pancetta in here. Let's give it a try. Well, that's pretty good. Nicely cooked pasta shell here. Certainly softer than al dente, but it's still working well for the dish. Not bad at all. I love shell pasta in any kind of pasta dish, just because of how much sauce can get lodged inside providing a nice flavor bomb when you go into it. And in general, you've got a good carbonara sauce here. Very rich. I think they use an appropriate amount of egg and yolk, well emulsified. A nice amount of saltiness from the cheese has made its way into the sauce. And there's a great amount of black pepper on the dish, providing the perfect amount of bite. And the pancetta has a great salty flavor here. This is a good carbonara. I like it just fine. All right, my friends, now that's the first round of entrees I'm trying. Just a couple more bites. I'm gonna box the rest to go because we're gonna do one more round. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back, my friends. It's time for my last round of food. Let me show you what I got. This is their steak frites served alongside 3 sauces as well as an order of their onion rings. I'm actually starting to get pretty full here, but I can't help myself. Let's go in. First up, we're going in on their steak. Now the steak frites comes along with a flank steak. I asked for my steak cooked medium today. Nice warm pink center here. Let's give it a try. You know, yeah, that's actually very good. Now, flank steak is a much more lean cut of beef. You're not gonna get a really fatty cut here, but as a trade-off, you get a really deep beefy flavor. They did excellently with the cook. Nice, perfect medium here. And while not the fattiest cut, it still has a very tender bite to it. And they've retained a ton of moisture. This is a very nice, juicy steak. Well seasoned, and they've generated a nice crust on the outside. I'm happy with this. This is a really good flank steak. Now I'm gonna apply some of their chimichurri sauce on top of this and give this a taste as well. Oh yeah, that's really good. A very nice chimichurri here adds a ton of additional flavor. A nice herb flavor coming from the oregano in that chimichurri, and a freshness from the parsley as well. The slightest bite coming from the red wine vinegar, and a nice rich olive oil base for this chimichurri coats the steak really nicely. Big fan of that chimichurri sauce on top of this flank steak. It tastes great. Now I tried the fries a little bit earlier along with those sliders, and I thought they were great. So finally, I'm gonna be going in on these onion rings. Let's see how it is. You know, I'd say those are just okay. These very much taste like your standard frozen onion rings you might find on a truck. While there is a nice crunch to it, unfortunately there's not a lot of flavor in this batter. Though once you get past that, I certainly do get the sweetness of the onion here. Now the onion rings are served alongside some kind of a spicy looking ranch. We'll give it a bit of a dip here. Let's see how this is. That's a nice sauce. Effectively, we have a very creamy ranch that's been mixed with something like a Tabasco sauce here. A little bit of tang coming from some vinegar, and a very peppery cayenne spice. It brings a much needed flavor dimension to these onion rings. The sauce is definitely welcome here. While there's nothing technically wrong with them, I don't know if I would repeat those onion rings here. All right, my friends, now I'm starting to get really full, so I think just a couple more bites, I'm gonna box up the rest. We'll take a look at some desserts in a little bit. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. And welcome back, my friends. It's time for some sweets. Let me show you the dessert menu. And here is your dessert menu at Luckley. Let's give it a little flip and take a look. You've got, oh, banana pudding. I think I know what I'm already gonna get. You've got tiramisu as well as a chocolate cake, and some after meal beverages here as well. Very concise menu. Now the banana pudding is definitely calling my name. I'm gonna get my order in, but for all of you at home, I'll make it appear right now. And here it is, the banana pudding. Nice creamy looking banana pudding here with a mini wafer on top. A nice big spoonful. Now I must admit, I'm absolutely stuffed, but it's time to activate the dessert stomach and give this a try. Yes, that's quite nice. The flavor of banana is so well incorporated into this pudding, but it's not overly sweet, very enjoyable. I like this a lot. A very creamy pudding. I do think I would personally prefer a little bit more of a thick pudding. And while I'm typically a really big stickler when it comes to textures, the flavor of this banana pudding is so good, I'm actually overlooking it quite a bit. Nice texture to the wafer on top, not stale at all, a good crisp to it while a little bit airy, as well as a very satisfying vanilla flavor. I actually really like this banana pudding. If it was just a little bit thicker, it would be absolute perfection. All right, everyone, now that's gonna do it for my dinner here at Luckley's Tavern at the Rio Las Vegas. All the dishes you saw in the video today came out to $325 before tip, and I certainly had a great time. I really like the tomato soup and grilled cheese.
And that tuna pizza was really tasty as well. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with that lobster pot pie. I thought it was so tasty. And as I'm looking at the receipt, I'm starting to realize that they didn't charge me for my dessert. And so a big thank you to Luckley for comping that for me.
And my server, Catherine, was very attentive and friendly today. I enjoyed it very much.
If you're at the Rio and you're looking for some upscale American fare, I think you've got a pretty good thing here at Luckley's. All right, my friends, now that's going to do it for this Saturday video where I continue my quest to vlog every single restaurant on the Las Vegas Strip as well as downtown. Coming this Tuesday, I'm going to be visiting a much more local spot here in the Valley. Make sure you come back for that one. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed Vegas with me, Shin. Bye.